they're going to be a bit worried about whether they're going to make it in time at this moment in time, as we've got 10 minutes left, well, 10 seconds left to go of the session, as I'm getting frame drops. I'm trying to fix those. I think we're good now at the moment, as the checker flag has fallen. Verheyen can't improve on his lap time, unfortunately, and we've got Chris, who is just going through, I think, the first part of the sector one. I don't think he's been improving so far. Let's just look at who's going to go towards the final corner. That was Riley Bice. Nope, it's not him. It's one of the other Williams. I'm just trying to find who the other Williams is.
Casper.
It is Casper. So he's going to come across the line then. The first person to potentially finish his lap time. Let's see what he could do then. Coming towards the final corner. 1:39.0, so you can only manage P13. Then we've got one of the Mercedes. It's either, I think it's the P2 at the moment, Jay Fletcher. He was 2 attempts up on his previous best, so I think it's going to be mega quick for one of the Mercedes drivers, your current championship leader, and he's going to get pole position. Yes, he does. 1:37.8 for the time being. We've got the other Red Bull driver of Jonas. He's also on a lap going towards the start-finish straight. We also have a Haas car directly behind as well, potentially coming across the line. Jonas can only manage 12th position. And we've got 2 of the Ferraris as well. Scorpion is on a lap, as well as his teammate Chris, who is P2. Don't forget Bryn as well, but I don't think Bryn is going to improve on his lap at all, because he binned it, and Chris is running out. No, Chris is not going to improve, so let's go on board with Scorpion, because Scorpion, they're giving each other the toe. That probably hasn't affected too much, so Rempe's gone into the pits. Bryn has binned it, so yeah, that's it. So on pole position is your championship leader, Jay Fletcher.
Yeah, that's a critical pole position. We'll see if he can convert it. It's a short run into turn 1 there at Baku, so he does have a good chance of seeing that one through. Quest, though, good. Second place in the end, but I think the driver that's going to be the most gutted with that is going to be Brett. He had pole position then, but unfortunately that invalidation cost him dearly. Just one driver getting into the 37 to the end. So Jay Fletcher, very, very crucial, and with a lead in the championship of almost an entire race win, that is a very, very good advantage that he can take forward. But qualifying, as I like to say, is not even half the battle. So even though he has grabbed that early advantage from getting that pole position, the bulk of the points is still holding out in the race. So we'll see if he can hold on to it. Chris is second, though, from Nosey in third for McLaren. Then it's the 2 AlphaTauris of Rimpey and Brown then. Fourth and fifth, Tom Robo is sixth at the end, just in front of Verheyen. Scorpion is 8th place in front of Riyad Mahoshi and Kieran there. That rounds off your top 10. They're locked into those soft tires for the race. Nick ends up 11th then, not repeating the form that he had from last week. We'll see what we can make of it. Okeke is 12th from Jonas, 13th. Hendo and 14th there for Casper. 15th, Schnitzel 16th. Riley and 17th. Kajman is 18th, and then F1 Fart, who didn't get a lap time on the board, just couldn't quite see it through, is 19th and last on the grid. That is going to wrap up qualifying. We're getting into the race. 26 laps ahead of us, and a track that has always made for such chaotic racing, Jess. I hope we have a great race on our hands, and I pray that these drivers are all going to get through the first few corners cleanly.
I hope they do as well, Daniel, and it looks like it's going to be pretty overcast at the moment, so the medium side, if they start on those, it's going to be tricky, and especially on the hard as well. So I won't be surprised if a majority of people go on to the soft tyres. We'll mention our sponsors right now and also towards the end of the broadcast, so both of us have a chance to say it. So we've got our sponsors, Next Level Racing, who are providing stands to the people that win the Going Gets Tough awards. So those are people that complete their pre and post race interviews every week without fail and attend every race without fail as well. There's still quite a lot of people in contention for that, and there's going to be a draw at the end of the season to see who is going to win that and get that lovely wheel stand, which Dexter won last season as well. And also we got our sponsor Vespertine as well, who is a clothing and proud brand as well. They're providing some sponsors to some trophies as well as Liam RBS, who also streams on Twitch. He was a podium tier driver, but he's no longer a podium tier driver. So if you want to find out his stream, it is twitch.tv/Liam RBS. So thank you to those free sponsors. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here where we are today at the moment. So thank you very much for those, as we're just waiting for the drivers to ready up And looks like they've all been very, very good, because obviously they have to wait for the tier coordinator, which is in this case Scorpion Hunt, to have the tip button. And yeah, it looks like no one's going to get penalty points for readying up too early, because everyone's getting their setups in as soon as possible, unless we have I hope we don't have a lobby glitch, but it looks like everyone wants to try and get their setups as much as they can. I'm just looking at PB Racing sector times at the moment. He was putting a screenshot in the chat, and he was very disappointed that he binned it there, and what could have been for PB Racing after that. And yeah, score the host readies up, and no one gets a penalty for running up too early. So good on to the positions here, boys. No 5-second penalties for the drivers for running up too early. So good job.
Yeah, well done to all the drivers, of course. That's going to keep them in contention for the race. We'll see how that is going to unfold. And so we're going to get readied up. We're going to get into proceedings very, very shortly. We'll be able to see what those from outside the top 10 are going to go with on tyre strategies. I don't expect to see anyone going for the hards. I may well be surprised by those choices, but the hard tyre is just much slower in general, just as a benchmark, really. So we'll see what the strategies are going to go for here. As I'm looking outside the top 10, certainly the overwhelming favourite for these guys outside the top 10 is going to be those medium tyres then. So Okeki, Jonas, Hendo, Casper, Riley and Kajmano going for those mediums. Schnexo and Nick both going for the soft tyre, which is very interesting. And so they'll be looking to try and maybe make some ground on that star, having at the start of the race can have the best tyres in the field. And F1 Farth, who's I guess last on the grid, didn't get a lap time in, going to go for something a bit different, going for the hard tyre. So we've got a good mix here. We'll see how all these strategies are going to converge. But I think that Farth is going to struggle here. Those hard tyres, especially conditions like this, are going to be pretty hard to get up to temperature. So he's going to try and need to get right in the game early on then. And particularly for those guys in the midfield, they've got to try and watch out for each other, keep it clean, because it's so narrow down there, they've got to make sure they're keeping all their bits on the car. But Jay Fletcher is going to lead off the line, and we'll see if he can hold on to it, because Chris will have the inside going into turn 1, but converting is, I'd say, pretty easy around this track, because it's such a short run, so if you get a decent launch for P1, you should be good to hold that lead heading through the first few corners.
Yeah, and I think a majority of drivers definitely want to hold position as much as they can, of course, because you ideally want to be near the front or near the back. You don't want to be in the middle. So Jay Fletcher is definitely in the best position as well. But if you're the likes of Scorpion, Roma, Hushi as well, Kieran, Nick, you're right in the middle of that, and you're going to be absolutely worried that people may just plough into you at the moment. So I just hope that these guys don't get involved in too many incidents today. We want to try and hold the record for getting as many drivers as they can to the finish line, of course, but we shall see, as 26 laps await our drivers. One of the longest laps on the calendar, the other one being Spa, but it's not in the OneHub calendar this season, unfortunately, which I'm gutted about, because I liked Belgium, but we shall see, as we are, I think we're about to start. And I'm going to throw you on the spot here. Who do you think is going to win this race?
I think I'm going to have to play it safe there. Jay Fletcher has that great position up front, then is I believe the only repeat winner throughout this season, and so he's shown that form consistently all the way through, being in top spot, being set to try and win it. I know it's the boring shot, but I think the Mercedes driver has a great chance, but it could be very, very unpredictable, because I'm on a 26 lap race that's going to last close to an hour probably. These drivers going to have to stay focused all the way through. They cannot afford to hit one wall, or they're going to be out of contention for that race win.
And just before we start, I'm going to send the dashboard to you, Daniel, before we forget, so you can see our lovely TAS system that we have on offer, so you can see who's faster and what bits. And it also tells you what damage is as well, so you should have the link there. Now you do. It's all good now. I was going to send it towards the end, but we're about to start this race, and it's going to be tough for anyone to beat Jay Fletcher here today, but there's only one way to find out. The 5 lights are about to come up on your screens at the moment. Here they go. Jay Fletcher on the left, Chris on the right. Who's going to get the better starts? And it is go, go, go here in Baku. It looks like Chris has got a very good start. So does the AlphaTauri heading in towards turn 1. Very, very clean from the top, guys. What about the guys in at the middle? Looks like it's pretty clean so far. No safety cars at this part of the track, which is great to see as they're all keeping straight and narrow. Everyone is trying to leave as much space as they possibly can. The timing glitch is playing up just a little bit, but I think it was Rimpe who had a very good start off the line as well, which was amazing. But yeah, Chris is now in the lead of this race. Jay Fletcher in second, Nosey in third, Rimpe in fourth position, and we got Bryn in fifth position, who is still fighting after a troublesome qualifying. And I have to say, these drivers are keeping it on the straight and now. I think the only people that's maybe having trouble is maybe Riley at the background, but it is hard to keep it on the straight and now at times. But they seem to be clean at the moment, as we're seeing. Oh, no, scrap that, as Riley, I think, just hit the back of Jonas, and he's got front wing damage. Quite a lot of people have got front wing damage towards the back now. I think it's going to be quite a bit of chaos. The Williams, I think that was Casper that got caught up in that as well. The Williams are just having a bad day so far in the office.
Yeah, it's been an awful first lap for the pair of them then, and they're going to drop through the field, surely going to have to come in, but they've got to watch out for double stacking then. You can see as well, Edward Bartering up alongside their can't quite manage it. We'll look a bit further up the grid though, as QuestJet managed to snatch that race lead off of Jay Fletcher, who'll be eager to try and fight back, but no DRS will come into play just yet, but we still have a straight full of slipstream to try and see any moves showing up here. Questo's going to have to be on that defence and then running that tighter line towards the first turn of the second lap. One lap down, and now Jay Fletcher to the outside line. Is he going to run all the way around? He's going to go brave, late braking round the outside the floor. He's going to squeeze him out on the exit. They're able to keep it just about clean. As you can see, Okiki's went into the pit lane, did pick up a significant damage on that opening lap then, as I think that was Scorpion running a bit wide in the background, dropping a little bit further off the pack ahead. So you can see everyone running in line, no DRS just yet, but Quay's looking pretty comfortable up at the front as it stands, running in that line. So we'll see what he can do there, because Jay Fletcher struggling to keep up with him. He was pressuring into turn one, but since then he's dropped back a little bit, and now he's got Nosey, I believe that is, chasing him down as well in the McLaren. So he looks very racy here, does the McLaren, chasing down the championship leader, and with DRS is active on the next lap, we'll be seeing some moves surely. As you can see, I think behind the two AlphaTauris almost battling. Brent to the inside will hold back from her, but he's got Rimpy under pressure, and the man that probably should have been on pole position is on the move, but it's going to be difficult to overtake then before DRS is activated here at Baku.
I think he's still thinking what's happened in qualifying, but he's got to forget about that and concentrate on the race ahead, and I know that's exactly what he's doing. He's also come fresh from being in the commentary box as well, so he should know what's the best opportunities to overtake on this track, and he's just waiting for the perfect moment at this stage. But meanwhile, Jay Fletcher is finding his time on Chris. On my screen, it's saying he's about 8/100ths of a second behind Chris, but he's not. He's around about, I would say, 3 or 4 tenths. I think it's the game bugging, so we do apologise about that as well. As Rimpe then is going to be trying to catch up to Nosey as much as he can. The DRS trains is going to be absolutely huge around here. That's just not going to promote any overtaking at this stage, but I won't be surprised if we see a battle going brewing very soon, as I do believe we see the two AlphaTauris going side by side into turn one. Bryn holds on to the left hand side line, and there he goes. Bryn overtakes his teammate up into P4, and he's 9 tenths behind Nosey now, and he wants a podium. If not, he wants a win of this race. Meanwhile, Cashman has got past Fast up into 15th place. He's doing a stellar job coming back from the back of the field. He's not had the best of races so far, but he's picked up no damage, which is great to see. Only 3 drivers have picked up damage as far as I'm aware. Is Nick and Kieran going side by side there into that just before the end of sector 1 there, and Kieran just holding on to P10. Don't forget the top 12 score points in this OneHub season, so more opportunities for everybody to score as much points as they possibly can. Nick is probably not used to being in 11th. He would rather be first or something.
Yeah, we'll see if he can adapt to that, but he's got Schnexel right behind him, who said in the pre-race interviews that he was going full send tonight. He's not going to get damage on his own, so he might as well just go for it. Let's see what he can do with that, and the Mercedes just in front, try to hold it back. Still, though, that DRS rate holding up near the front. It's Rimpy that's dropped off a little bit, though, doesn't seem to have the same pace as the cars in front of us. I think Cashman's gone off, going to that infamous castle section, the Renault, going into the wall at turn 8. Has he got away without damage? No, he hasn't. He's definitely got some damage in that Renault, and he's going to have to come in at the end of this lap. Of course, he will have an opportunity to get back in and just make one more pit stop over the race. Of course, everyone is going to have to come in twice throughout this Azerbaijan Grand Prix, but that's not what you want to be after then. You want to be having a clean race no matter what. So now, We're heading on to the 4th lap here in Azerbaijan, and still Quest leads the way, but you can see the fastest laps coming in. Brent looks like he's really flying out there. As further back, Tom Robo is lining up Rimpy back there. Of course, DRS will be active again in that second DRS zone, heading into turn 3. So is the Racing Point going to try and find a way through? He gets a much better exit there. I think Rimpy was a little bit wide. So now, DRS zone, but he's on the overtake as well. It's going to be Brave going side by side into turn 3, but he finds that inside line. Can he get through in the 5th place? Looks like he can on the inside lane. Rimpy trying to run him around the outside, but he's going to get squeezed out there. Through goes Racing Point, backwards goes AlphaTauri, and now Scorpion and behind and looking very threatening in there. They're chasing down Rimpy, who seems to be slowly dropping down the field here. Just hasn't quite got the race pace, hasn't got to the rhythm so far here.
It looks like Tom is actually really wanting to climb up the championship, and I think Tom is a much faster than Rimpy that last lap. And I was looking at our TAS system as Kajman just got into the pits. I think he got around about 63% damage, which is not good at all. But it could be worse. It could be on the red side. I think it was on the pretty much towards the amber side more than the red side of his. I think it was his right front wing that he lost as well. So that was a bit of a shame. But he's coming. He's on into a fresh set of the medium tyres, and he's probably going to make one more stop. Casper also goes into the pits. He had 25% front wing damage. There's also someone that's got front wing damage. That's for Hayden. I think he must have lost it somewhere. He just went red all of a sudden. 76% damage on his I think it's his right. I think it's either his right. It just says damage ring right, but I can't tell if it's rear. Yeah, it is his right front wing. There we go. Yeah, that looks completely gone from Verheyen, so he has to come in for sure. He's going to lose so much downforce. Meanwhile, Jay Fletcher just gets the move on Chris, and he takes the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And look at this. All 4 cars separated by not even a second, fighting for the win already. And we're not only on that 5 already. A lot of people's rears are starting to overheat at the moment. Bryn is on 54%. On the rear left, on the rear right, 61%. So if Bryn wants a shot of winning this race, he has got to keep his tyres under control.
Yeah, he has got a lot more wear in the rear, than the 3 drivers in front of him. But that said, he was the quickest of all of them on that last lap. It has chased him down. Quest seems to be struggling, though. You can see already, Jay Fletcher, he was biding his time. He was saving his battery while Quest was using his. Has about 40% more to his name now that he could use to try and move away. So I think that was good racecraft for the Mercedes driver. He didn't want to take it back straight away, as I think we have Kazman that's going off, coming out the pit lane. So the Renault spearing out, and he's retired out on track. That's not what you want to see at all. And so with their points for the top 12, you really don't want to be giving up that opportunity too early. Up the field, Tom Robo and F1 4th. We're battling through turn 7, F1 4th, going right up to the wall in the chasm section. I think he just about got away with that. But my oh my, was that right up against it then. And the Haas driver is going to continue on. Further up the field though, I think Nosey's going to be the next driver to attack Quasar, who's dropping back from Jay Fletcher just about out of that DRS range. Does he still have it? They go over the detection point now, but he's got almost no ERS to use now at this point of the race. So now Nosey and McLaren chasing him down and closing. But you can see they're all diving to the pit lane here. And so all the top 4 in. That's how quickly these soft tires are going to go off. I suspect it may well be a soft, medium strategy for most of these drivers. Jay Fletcher has put on those mediums. We'll see if anyone's going to go for the softs at this midpoint of the race. Looks like it's all going to be that yellow wall compound then. Into the pit lane they go. Jay Fletcher has a comfortable lead, but where does he come out then? 17.5 seconds, and one of the shortest pit lane loss times, so you can come out pretty high up, and he is still inside the top 5 with good clean air in front of him. Jonas behind, and Tom has actually jumped all the way up then. Got a brilliant run to the pit lane, and now runs in a net second place. Great stop then from Tom Robo. Now he's in front of Quest, he's in front of Nosey. Now both of them are going to have to try fight back. Tom Robo's put himself right into the limelight here, but Jay Fletcher leads the way, and he looks pretty comfortable out in front as it stands.
It looks like Chris got held up in the pit lane. That's probably why Tom Robo actually got ahead of him, and Racing Point are further ahead in the pit lane, because obviously the more, like, the higher the team, basically if you're Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, the more likely you're going to get held up, and that was Chris's unlucky draw, unfortunately, and that's why Tom Robo is in a net P2 right now. That's what he definitely wants at the moment. But Hindle and Jonas' race is far from over, only being on 5 laps mediums, but they'll have to pit until the end. So the only 2 drivers yet to make their first stop. Oh, sorry. What did you say? Sorry.
Sorry, there's just a lot of lag going on out on track there. I saw Tom Robot. From my view, he went straight on almost at turn 12, but he's lagged back in front, so there seems to be some connection issues in the lobby. I'm not sure if you were seeing the same up there. Tom Robot, though, still maintains that. I am sorry for jumping in there.
That's fine.
But so yeah, I think they are still fighting. Tom Robo actually looking pretty quick at the moment there. Quake's trying to get up to him, but he's dropping back, and now Nosey again is reeling him in. Scorpion came in, so it's actually Ryoma Honshin that's staying out pretty much longer than anyone else then on those soft tyres then. I wonder what he's looking like on the tyre condition. At the moment he seems to be holding up just about okay, and he's going to get into puncture territory pretty soon as Tom Robo, who went for that undercut I believe, is now saying that fast lap of the race, as now Jay Fletcher is reeling in Jonas, and that should be a pretty easy move. He's got much more grip in these tyres. Jonas' tyres will still be just about fine, but Jay Fletcher, fresh out the pit lane, goes to the inside line, uses the overtake, uses the DRS, will cruise at a P3 now. So he moves up out there on the road. So we're seeing those swaps there, and now it's going to be up to Tom Roboquist and Nosey to try and get through on the ailing Red Bull driver, who doesn't seem to have the outright speed of these net race leaders as it stands right now. As I think I saw behind him running into the back of Nick, just about managed to avoid it. Now Shinetsu getting up and alongside, round the outside of turn 4, the Alfa Romeo's going to get cut off though. Looks to get a better exit, a better drive now, heading towards turn 5, he's back up around the outside, but behind him will just about cover off all angles and all ways through, but he gets a poor run at turn 6, he's moving across at turn 7, cutting off the advancing German, who has to yield it in the end, ducking and weaving, going left to right, just about able to maintain that. He got very hairy down there, but Nick got the move done in the end, up until 11th. Now he's got to try and chase down that pack up ahead. The field's beginning to break off into little pockets then. Jay Fletcher up in front, then you got Jonas, then you got that train for 5th place, a train for 8th place, and then a train for 11th place. So you're seeing all the drivers being forced into little pockets out there on the track, but Nosey looks like he's got some really good pace. He's again chasing down on Quasar. Can he get past then with DRS as we go into the 8th lap here in Baku?
I've got to say, this is one of my favourite Baku races I've commentated on so far. I have to say, that's why I like commentating it rather than racing it. I hate racing it, but I love watching it. And we can see that Nosey is just getting a better run in the DRS and traction, heading towards turn 1, and he gets an easy move done there. And I think Chris may do the cut back in the next DRS strike. They're all so close. Ryoma had about 60-70%, so I were on those softs, so it could have been puncture territory very, very soon. So he did the right thing there, going in the pits, but he's going to find it so much difficult to try and climb up the rest of the field now. Chris, though, unfortunately does not have the straight line speed to get past there. Is their nearest rival Nosey, but Tom Wombo has just got past traffic and he's up into 3rd after getting past Jonas, who's been on those tyres for 7 laps. All Jay Fletcher and Tom Wombo need to do now is get past Hindle now, who's been on those tyres for the majority of the race. Schnitzel and Kieran are having a battle side by side. It's Racing Point versus Alfa Romeo. A little bit of a love tap for both of the drivers. I don't think any damage is there for Hayden. Is trying to come back so far. We've only lost 1 retirement of this race so far. Everybody else is still managing to keep it on the track, which is great to see. No VSCs or safety cars yet, but I'm worried I might have a jinx for that. So far as Kieran then is doing all he can to defend for now. Now heading towards the castle section. Very, very hard to not bin it there, and they're just so close and they just not bin it. It's just amazing, and I mean this is going to be very tight for this mid pack to actually try and get past. And this is just a battle for pretty much a battle for the final point, as Schnitzel is at the front of this train.
Yeah, you're seeing some very precise driving here in the precision tier from the entire field of drivers. It's been phenomenal to see. Now you're going to see some swaps though, as Nosey getting up to the back of Jonas, goes round to the right hand side, and Quake's going to follow him through that. He's got some overtakes still to use, trying to chase down the McLaren in that slipstream. Is he going to go for a move? He's going to just cruise past the Red Bull, looking to the inside of the turn 1. No, he's going to hang back from that one, not getting it too ambitious, and just about measuring that right and following the McLaren through. He's now got Tom Robo just up the road. You see, I think Kieran has just moved past Nexel then, going down into the first corner, and so the Alpha had to yield it. Verheyen has picked up a time penalty going throughout, I think just going through turn 16 maybe to the end of the lap. That has been the first penalty given out in this race, but very, very clean driving out there so far. But Kieran has managed to get into that 12th place and provisionally that final points pay possession. Snexel looking up behind him, and of course, don't forget that in this league, you get 2 fastest lap points, one inside the top 10 and one outside the top 10. So even the drivers outside the points are going to have something to fight for here, which is what I think makes this league very unique. But looking more to the race, Jay Fletcher is really on a charge. He's slowly but surely eking out that gap behind him to Tom Robo. Nosey is slowly reeling in the racing point as well. Hindle still leads out there, but you suspect the race leaders are going to start reeling him in. He's still got some life in those tyres, currently sitting around about, as my TAS isn't updated in a little while, so I'm not sure, but I think his tyres, they're holding up just about, but surely Jay Fletcher's in much better condition, and I think he'll be going for a move very shortly. Gap 1.5 seconds, I suspect on the next lap, he's going to be all over the race leader and looking for a way through.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of moves happening in Cashman, unfortunately, leaving the session now, which I think is to be expected, sadly. So hopefully he can have a better race next week and recover from it as well, because he's a fast driver. I've seen him in other leagues doing so well, especially as well, but everybody else, they're just pushing their tyres to the limit right now. There's a lot of people on getting towards the amber territory. I think Tom Robert on 22% as well, whereas Jay Fletcher's tyres are a little bit better condition at the moment. So I'm guessing that Jay Fletcher is going to probably be a little bit better. Meanwhile, the two, oh my goodness, there's 3 wide heading into this DRS straight, and I think Rimpe got caught unawares, and I think he was very, very unlucky. Jonas, I think Bryn gets past Jonas. There was just so much action happening in the space of a few corners. You didn't know where to look at this stage at the moment. It's a bit worrying that Ryan is also trying to get past the one who's been on those tyres for 9 laps. He must be absolutely fuming because he doesn't want those tyres to get into bad nick. Dirty air does cost the tyres to go quicker than when you're in clean air. So Ryan Hoshi is in a lot of trouble being behind Jonas, whereas Bryn is very, very lucky to be the only person maybe chasing down Scorpion. Scorpion is on fresher tyres though, so Bryn is going to have a lot of catching up to do going towards the castle section. But you can see heading towards the castle section, you just get so blinded when you head towards there. The sun is definitely shining up today around this beautiful Baku City circuit.
And not only the sun, but as well, if you're sitting right behind a car, it's hard to actually see the corner itself, so you've got to try and almost go in there half blind. And so these drivers having to make some instinctive judgments, making sure they're keeping their cars alive. Of course, we've not seen too much damage in this race, which has been fantastic to see, but that can all change there. We're still not even halfway through. That's Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Up at the front, Jay Fletcher looking to wrestle the race lead from Hendo. Pulls to the inside line, and that's the advantage that he has on pace. Cruises through and nosy moving past Tom Robo. He's showing a lot of pace out there, and he now gets up in the 3rd place. More battling down to his sprint, cruising past Scorpion, ran him towards the pit wall, but the Ferrari had to yield it as now Rimpe moving past Jonas. He lost out to Rayama Hoshi just a few seconds ago then, and so the Haas is making a good recovery drive, and what you're seeing now is the advantage of fresh tyres. His tyres in fantastic condition compared to Rimpe's, and you can see that then. Rimpe's tyres around about the over 20% on the rears, but Rayama's about half that. So you can see the advantage that he has, and that he's managed to claim that 8th position. Now he can try and chase down Scorpion and Bryn up the road. It wasn't a great qualifying session, but now the podium setter from just a few weeks ago coming right back into it now. He's got 1.5 seconds to realign the cars in front, but he looks a bit quicker at this stage. We'll see if he can bridge to that gap.
Haas is probably one of the only teams in all the tiers to not get a win in pretty much all the tiers combined. Haas is one of the only teams to not get a win. Wyoming, who was very, very close in getting a podium, well, pretty much getting a win in Abu Dhabi. Gold P2 was having a massive fight with the likes of Jay Fletcher, but he couldn't get the win, which is a shame. But it's still not over for him to actually get into the top few spots as well. We could see the likes of Jay Fletcher and Chris possibly make a mistake as well, but it seems to be holding their own at this stage. I think they're just getting their rhythm at the moment as the gaps are starting to increase by all the drivers. I mean, the only one that's close is between Nosey and Tom. I think Jay Fletcher must be running away with it up front as he leads by 1.6 seconds over Hindle and around about 2 seconds over Nosey, which is not what Nosey wants at this stage. But Nosey doing a great job in the McLaren. It's going to be one of his best results of the season. I'm trying to remember when his last best result was, but I'm sure Taz will tell me later on as we head towards the end of the session, as we will give you a quick rundown of who's had the best results and who's had the worst results. Kieran and Nick been battling for most of the race. Kieran gets past with DRS nice and easy there, and into turn 1, and I think Nick's going to do all he can to try and attack that. As we've had Verhainen and Riley Bites got more damage, 12% damage. I think it was only green, so I guess they're going to be continuing on tracks like Austria, Brazil, Abu Dhabi. You can get away with damage like that. Around here, because the track is so narrow and requires a lot of downforce, there's no way you want to get damage like that.
Oh, certainly not. You know, if you get damage, it's almost certainly, unless it's very minor, you're going to be looking for that pit lane. I saw Nick there. He's chasing down Akira, but he did just knock his car on the edge of the wall at turn 4. I think he just about got away with it. Schnitzel and Verhainen both chasing it down, so you can still see the battles raging on as we near the halfway point in this race. Now, Hendl's going to be under pressure there. Nosey and Tom both reeling him in there, and surely he's going to be coming in, I imagine, relatively soon. We'll see how long these drivers on the mediums want to go as to when they make their final pit stops. Hendel's tyres beginning to get towards the critical zone. He's in his right rear tyre is close to 60% now, about 56%. So he's going to start getting some serious wear, and soon enough he'll be in puncture territory. So that pit stop's probably coming quite soon, but maybe not before he's going to get jumped by these two drivers in third and fourth. Nosey now in the slipstream already. Hendel running right to the pit wall. He's either defending, he's going to the pit lane. Looks like he is going to dive in. So he's going to give up that fight, and he's going to go in then on the 12th lap. So that allows Nosey, Tom Robo and the rest of the field to go through and charge up then. That opens up Jay Fletcher's lead. Now runs 3.5 seconds clear. The Mercedes, the championship leader, is in complete control as it stands out here on track. As Verhainen moves past Schnitzel further down the field, and it's enthralling four-way battle. Now we're over 10th place. They're getting up towards the top 10 of points on offer for nearly all those drivers. Hendel out behind him on the soft tyres. We'll see what we can make of that. But I think because if after seeing those these mediums, what they could do, they could maybe go about 13, 14 laps in total. Do you reckon that maybe you could see some drivers going for softs at the end, or do you think the main strategy goal for these drivers that have gone onto the mediums in the middle since is going to be mediums again and just playing it safe on tyres? What do you think they're going to go for here?
I think looking at the tyre wear that the drivers are being suffering for this race, there's no way they could do a soft, medium, soft strategy unless that they could push those mediums to their limits. Like, I don't know, it's really, really tough. The undercut I've seen is quite powerful due to the fact that the pit lane's very short compared to the other tracks, but I would say you've got to keep it conservative. I think people outside of the top 7 almost certainly may go for the mediums, but there might be people very brave going for the softs, but there is a danger that if you lose out, Ryan Mahushi almost lost out getting a puncher there, but he got so lucky. I can't remember how long he was actually on those soft tyres, so that was probably a true indication as to how long it was. And I think I can see on Taz how long he lasted for. 7 laps were the soft tyres, so that was pretty much at the lifespan of where the softs were meant to be. So ideally I think about lap 20, the end of lap 20 is when these guys will be wanting to go into the pits to go on the soft. If they pit before that and go on the soft, they will be in trouble, so they'll probably have to go in the mediums. At the moment, Brent is setting the fastest first sector. We've got Jonas in the pits. Kieran gets past him, as well as Nick and Verhainen. It's great to see in the TAS system, actually, who is fast in what sector right now. And the fastest lap so far is set by PB Racing, well, Brent with a 1:42.265, which is pretty much, we've already broken the record of the race record in 2019 by Charles Leclerc. So, good job, guys.
Yeah, these guys should be racing in Formula One. Is what we're picking up from this.
Yes.
Looking toward, so looking up to the gaps, and it's interesting to see. I'm just looking at TAS here, and Nosey was about 4/10 quicker than Jay Fletcher on that last lap. So he is not out of this race just yet, and he is really in that gap, just under 3 seconds now. Hendel's now moving through on those fresh soft tyres. He's going to have a lot more grip than the drivers around him. He's moved past Schnitzel into the points, and now he has got behind him. He's got Nick right in front of him. Look at the extra grip he has, and surely he's not going to be sitting behind for long as they head to the castle section. You've got to make sure you keep it clean up here. Looks like they're all keeping it nice and steady going throughout this castle section, but you can see the extra grip out of turn 12 that the Alfa Romeo has gone through, and this is what you mean when you compromise your strategy to start off with. You go for mediums, you stretch your stint, you're now getting rewarded with phenomenal amounts of grip in the back half of this race, and surely Hendel's going to look to try and get away through maybe on the pair of them heading towards that first corner then. Big DRS coming up now. He's got a great exit as well coming on turn 16. So how is this battle gonna go there? How are the fortunes gonna adjust? How are they gonna change for all these drivers? This place dives the pit lane early. That must indicate a medium run to end this race. But look now at Hendel. He's chasing down the Red Bull, trying to get through. But behind him using the DRS in responsibility to the inside line of Nick. Nick's going to get swamped here. Who loses one, loses 2 places. Hendel then to the outside line. Breaks a little bit later. Tries to run round here. And turn one gets squeezed into the wall. And there's contact. And Nick almost ran into Hendel as well. And I think he's got damage from that then. The Mercedes driver just trying to check that car. The broadcast camera's not exactly showing anything visually. Is now Hendel was back alongside there after that desperate move around the outside of turn 1. Pulls to the inside line. And he's going to get the move done down the inside. But that was a scary moment then. Verheyen was not giving up that move easily in the slightest. Nick had to run into Hendel almost there, who tried to go round the outside. He got squeezed out there. And I think these guys are lucky to all be pointing in the same direction, because my oh my, Hendel was incredibly close to that wall. I think somehow he's got away with it, because my oh my, that was a close call there.
That was absolutely insane. I'm a bit worried about Hindle though, because he pitted far too early for those softs, but I believe he needs to stop once more. Yeah, he needs to stop once. Everybody needs to start one more time, apart from OKK, Riley Bythe and Casper, who technically don't need to, but knowing where their tyres are going to go, they probably won't make it. Well, I think OKK just pitted, so he can make it to the end on those hard tyres. He could have gone on the mediums fine, but he may not have had enough mediums left, so that's probably why he was forced to go onto the hard tyres, because if he goes on the soft, then he's in deep trouble then. So we're pretty much on the final third of this race, which I think is very exciting. Tom Robbo then goes into the pits for his final stop then. I do see yellow stripe mediums ready for the Racing Point guys, and it looks like that's the tyres that he's going to go on. Yes, it is to be expected. Soft medium strategy for Tom Robbo, doing exactly pretty much the opposite to what Jay Fletcher and Nosey, they're staying out. So I wonder if those two are going to have to respond to that, because they all went in at the same time pretty much. Jay Fletcher, Nosey, Bryn and Tom Robbo. So you never know, maybe Tom Robbo could be in a shout of getting this win, but he's going to be under pressure from Hindle, who's on the softs, and I know he's not going to get that position. Well, he's not going to try and, well, pretty much give that position to him. He's going to fight for it.
Certainly, as every right to it, he's still got some good tyres underneath. They're both queuing up behind Verheyen, and those probably going to be coming in on this lap or the next, I imagine, as these guys transition into the final stint of this race. Further down the field, F1 4th moves past Schnitzel, who also went into the pit lane. The DRS is too powerful for the Alfa Romeo to hold back, but this could be a busy pit lane here, I imagine, this lap yet again. Nosey is slowly but surely still reeling in Jay Fletcher. Last lap, he was 7/10 quicker than the race leader and championship leader, so the McLaren seems to have some stunning pace out there, and he's not out of this race just yet, but Jay Fletcher has a lot of overtake to his name. I reckon they're all going to be coming in. Tom Robbo made the undercut work on the last stint of the first round of pit stops to brilliant effect, but at the moment he's being held up behind a Verheyen train at the stage. Hendel's going to try to get through, and Tom Robbo needs to make the most of this then, otherwise he's going to be losing out with some older tyres for that last stint. But looks like they're all pretty much going to be staying out, and that tells me they may well be trying to go for sauce at the end of the race. Hendel moves late, going into turn 20, cruises through, now Tom Robbo's going to try and get to him under. He pulls alongside and past the Red Bull, and now he's chasing down the Alfa Romeo. He puts on the overtake, he's trying to chase him down to bring him for turn 1, but he's not close enough, almost runs into the back of him, and I think there was contact behind his vein and ran into him. Gets a drift onto that Red Bull, just about holds on to it as now Tom Robbo regroups, and now is chasing back down the 5th place man, opens up the DRS, now surely this one's going to be a done deal, pulls to the inside line, draws level down the straight and ahead into the braking zone. So through goes Tom Robbo, and further down the field, Schnitzel will move back past everyone.
Hindle's had a slide! Hindle's had a slide! I don't think there's damage unless oh wait, let me just have a look. We got a KK that's got, he binned it, I believe, and we got a VSC. I thought there would be a safety car, but I'm just seeing where KK's binned it, because it's definitely not a pit stop. It's hard to tell. He got 100% damage there, so he got points last week, but he's not going to get points this week as well. So I'm looking at damage. Hindle got 12% damage for that slide, so did Verheyen as well, but he's on his left front wing, 38% damage, which I think Verheyen, he's got to go into the pits, which is a shame because he's been running in a good position for so long. But again, like we said earlier on, if even the smallest amount of damage could cost you the end of this race. So even Verheyen has got to do a lot of thinking as well. And Jay Fletcher's got damage. Jay Fletcher's got damage. 90% on his right front wing. That will give Nosey a chance to close in on your championship leader. Nosey's got no damage whatsoever. This is huge for Jay Fletcher. I think Jay Fletcher may choose to stay out because I know he can handle the damage, but he's got to break so much earlier than normal due to the front wing damage he's having. It may not even register on the game, but it's definitely registered on our task system. You can see how Nosey's catching up now. We could see a different race winner on our hands, and Verheyen is now out of this race. And yeah, that is his front wing completely gone. And oh, yeah, that is right in the middle of the circuit. Will there be a safety car? Yes, there is a safety car. That has brought Josh back into contention as well. And I think it will be soft time.
Yeah, these guys are going to all jump in then. So a dramatic late safety car is going to really mix up the playing field here in this race. And so those drivers that came in a bit earlier are going to suffer, I think, then. And those top four are going to have the chance to go straight through the pit lane and maintain the same order. But Jay Fletcher, if he wants to get that wing repaired, which I said with all the drivers that are going to be queuing up behind him, he will do. Nosey may well inherit this race lead with Brennan behind him. So that is how much the complexion, the idea of this race has shifted. And now Jay Fletcher's going to have a real task in his hands, but the safety car may well have given him a chance to at least preserve some track position and have a fighting chance in this race. But I'm sure that they're all going to go in for soft tires. They'll have a couple laps behind the safety car where they can keep those tires in good nick. They may well be towards puncture territory towards the end of the race. So we'll see what they're going to pull off then as they come round now with 8 laps to go. We should see a busy pit lane here. Jay Fletcher coming in. We're going to have to clock them, watch the Mercedes driver's pit stop. If he does decide to come in then, he is looking towards that pit lane, will go in to the box. And yes, all these top 3 are going to go to the pit lane. Hopefully they all get through without any speeding penalties. Looks like it's all clean. And Jay Fletcher, I think he is getting that front wing changed. Yes, he's going to relinquish that lead then. And Brent, Nosey, sorry, is going to grab that racing. If he gets out okay, the McLaren is going to emerge from the safety car period with the lead. The question is now, can he hold on to it? But he showed such good pace all the way throughout this race. You said he's been thrust right into it. He has a great chance of seeing this race through now.
Yeah, that is, honestly, Nosey needed that. I think he must have been praying to the safety car gods as well. I wonder if Nosey knew about Jay Fletcher's damage, because I think he's probably thinking, wait a minute, Jay Fletcher was right behind me. Now he's behind Tom Robbo as well, and Tom Robbo is no tough cookie. Tom Robbo has chosen to stay out, however. He is on the medium compounded tyres. It's quite a mixed bag, I have to say. Some people have gone on their old medium tyres, some people have gone onto the soft, so I thought everyone would have gone on the softs, but I'm guessing that a few people don't want to take that gamble, don't want to take that puncture territory. They want to make sure they get to the end of the race unscathed. So that's going to... We just don't know who's going to win this race. Nobody has any penalties either, which is a first in this season where pretty much no one has got any time penalties at the moment. So it's going to come down to skill and how they can cope with pressure, especially Nosey. I think he's not used to being in this position for quite a long time, but Riley's has got a penalty, as I said that. So scrap that. That's my commentator's curse out the way.
That's one done for tonight. Also want to mention that every person left in the race has done their 2 mandatory pit stops, so we're all free to race. It's essentially just going to be a sprint towards the checker flag. That is one of the greatest spectacles I think you're going to see in racing at any point. And I think that Nosey has a really good chance at this then. But of course, what he's got to do is time this restart to perfection when it comes around. Because, don't forget, that the run into turn 1, even without DRS, provides a lot of slipstreaming opportunities. So maybe he wants to try and run it right up as close to the line as he possibly can, as close to the pit lane entry as he possibly can, because he is able to do that. Of course, they're not allowed to overtake before the line, and maybe he wants to run it up right to that start-finish line when we get back on the way, so he's limiting that slipstream behind him and make sure he's maintaining that lead and try and build on it behind. because I think Brent behind him has looked pretty quick throughout this race, but I wouldn't say he's shown quite the pace that Nosey has. And Jay Fletcher has also looked really impressive, but he's got Tom Robo to get through, and Tom Robo is not going to be willing to give up a podium position, even on older tyres. He is going to fight for it tooth and nail, as now we head on to the 20th lap. We hopefully will get underway on this lap, but the two Williams drivers are a bit far off the rear of the pack. So we might not get it underway just yet, but when we do, we should have a fantastic race in our hands. The question is, can Nosey hold on to it? Looking at a sensational race victory here. He's not won a race this season. He's going to look to try and get through, but as you mentioned, Jess, there's so much pressure on him. Can he deal with it in these last few laps and drive to a perfect race win and see it home here in Baku?
Let us know in the chat, guys. Do you think Nosey is going to hold on to that race victory, the one that he desperately deserves, or is going to be the one to have redemption? He was due for a race win last week, but that last-minute safety car in the rain costed him because he had a 8-second penalty, which did not help him at all. If it wasn't for that safety car, he would have had the gap enough to win the race because his pace on the intermediate tyres was fantastic. So, you know, like, Tom Robbo's won a race, Jay Fletcher's won a race as well. There's the top five are so eagerly close, as well as Ryan Mayoshi, who hasn't got a race win yet. You know, literally anyone who is on the lead lap, which is pretty much going to be everyone, is still with a shot of winning this race, so you can't afford to make too many mistakes. This is going to be very, very exciting. And for those of you just watching, where have you been? We are going to be on for an exciting last 6 laps. Don't watch Pinnacle yet. Watch Precision for the last few laps, because it's going to get very intriguing to see, will those softs make it to the end, or will they have to do a little bit of tyre saving at the moment? Nosey is going to hopefully stay in front, so his tyre's going to be in good nick, but I wonder, most of the ERS is on 100%, so that's probably saved their bacon that they could just push and go full throttle. And that's what I like about Baku. There's so many overtaking spots, more than any other tracks, that when safety cars like this could be gold, and pretty much we could see a surprise winner in our midst. There was a question in the pre-race interviews, will we see any surprises? I have a feeling we could be onto one.
Yeah, looks like it as it stands, although I don't think we're getting back to racing on this lap. So at the end, I think we're going to be treated to what is going to be a 5-lap sprint to the checkered flag. And Nosey is going to have to control that restart. I know, Jess, this is going to be a huge spectacle on our hands. Now, of course, that mix of tyre choices, of course, the drivers that have stayed out on mediums, they made their pit stops. They pitted before the safety car came out. And I don't think there were a lot of them that have good positions, like Tom, like Quest, don't want to give up that strong position that they have out there on the road. They want to just stay up front and try and hold the drivers behind in that window. And I think Scorpion and Rimpey Keys, they could do themselves a good favour by hanging on in there and blocking some of the soft runners behind as well. So they can struggle to get through. So I think Tom may still be on for a good result then. Quest will see if he can hang on to it, but the soft runner is going to have a lot more pace in these restarts. So I think that Nolan and Brown are going to have that opportunity to try and get a gap. And Jay Fletcher, he's going to need to try and get past Tom, and then he's going to have to try and hunt down the two race leaders if he wants to win this race and if he wants to continue extending that championship lead that it's built up.
Yeah, and this is a stage where the more you extend your gap, the more the chance you're going to win your Drivers' Championship earlier rather than later as well. You want to have that safety net. You want to win that title as early as you possibly can, so you can have the final couple of races to have a bit of fun. And if Jay Fletcher keeps up his good form and consistency, then maybe he could be on a shot for winning the title as well. Jay Fletcher is on a high at the moment, and it looks like in the Mercedes could be on a high as well, because we could see if Jay Fletcher could get these move on the top three, we could see the second week in a row where Mercedes is on the top step. A different one, I would say, but to be honest, it's going to be a tough call on who I think is going to win this race. It's just going to come down to tyre management to see who's going to make it. We know Tom's tyres are going to make it. He's going to hold on, but we don't know about the other drivers. The safety car, I think it's going to come in soon, because Riley is around 6 seconds behind the safety car, so it's not going to be that long before we see some more actions. It's going to be like a sprint lobby, but a lot cleaner, I have to say. And the safety car is in this lap, Daniel. We are going to be in for some action, and on lap 20, pretty much 24, is when we're going to see the DRS be activated once again. So pretty much only going to be 2 or 3 laps of DRS action. Nosey is going to be the one that controls the pace. As soon as he accelerates, he can't slow down. This is going to be crucial for him. We also got Bryn side by side as well. He wants to get going too. Tom Robbo, Jay Fletcher, they're all going for it at this stage. This is going to be very, very exciting. Let's see what Nosey could do now. He is holding up the field so much, but he's going to start to accelerate now. Bryn has got a good restart, so did Tom Robbo, and Jay Fletcher didn't get as much of a good restart than he would have wanted, but Bryn, he's right on the back of Nosey at the moment. This is his chance at this stage. Jay Fletcher, Tom's made a mistake. Jay Fletcher going to be going side by side with Tom Robbo heading into turn 3 and 4, and it's been a mistake from Jay Fletcher. Jay Fletcher's had a bit of a slide there. He's dropped down huge positions. Your championship leader's buckled under the pressure. He's down into 8th position right now. The Mercedes are not going to score many points at the moment, as he's got another AlphaTauri for company as well. I need to check for damage, but my oh my, the win is out of his hands now for Jay Fletcher. I think he's got damage there too, Daniel.
Yeah, that's really suffered then. He got side by side with Tom, but just clipped the curb on the inside and got oversteer, and that's dropped him way down the field. And Barth's gone off. Barth there at turn 4 and a half has dropped it then, and he's now a few seconds off the back of the pack as it stands. Up in the front, Nosey still leads the way. Brent trying to chase him down, but because of that battle, because of Tom's mistakes, because of Jay Fletcher's mistake, it has really spread this pack out, and it has allowed these top two to have a duel now to the checkered flag, and they are well clear. Are we going to see a DRS leapfrogging game, as we've seen so many times here at Baku? Could we possibly see a photo finish here? Let's see how this is going to unfold. No DRS just yet, but Brown looks to be really inspired, really rejuvenated on these soft tires. He is right there with the McLaren. Is he going to look to try and get away through then? Has got the slipstream in behind him. I think Casper's going off as well down there, turn 15, but look at that, they're going side by side with the race lead. Brent gets alongside Nosey. They're going to go level across the start finish line. They're going to get almost into contact then, and there's nothing to separate them in a turn 1 on the 23rd lap. Who's going to have to yield this one? They go wheel to wheel through turn 1. Nosey all the way around the outside. Can he get this one done? Brent on the inside line in a turn 2, running him up towards the wall. There are still side by side. That's phenomenal racing now as they go level, parallel, going towards turn 3, but Brent's going to get his nose in front. Nosey looking back down the inside line, but can't get through. What a spectacular battle for the front, but Brent's got it. The question is now, can Nosey fight back down the field? Jay Fletcher and Redbeard battling in a turn 4. The Mercedes has the high ground, has the inside line. Redbeard with a great comeback, a great exit, drawing back alongside the turn 5. Can he run all the way around the outside? He's going to have to go the long way around. Jay Fletcher will cover that off. He's trying to fight back to the field, and after that mistake, he's got Scorpion in front. Realman Hoshi trying to bring in Quace up the road as well, but the battle for the front is shaping up, and Brent's got some great pace here after Nosey put up such a fight. He got through, and now the gap's 8-10. The AlphaTauri looks to have the pace at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like it as well. Bryn take a bow there as well. He's sensational, but his rears, though, are not looking too happy right now compared to his rivals. 24% on the rear left, 27% on the rear right. Nosey, 17% rear left, 19% rear right. So it looks like Nosey's getting a little bit under control. Maybe Bryn is pushing a little bit too much. He's got to conserve right now. We could see a battle happening right until the bitter end here at the moment. And Tom, I've got to say, Tom's at a similar position, and he's on the medium tyres too. So Tom's at the same delta compared to Bryn and Nosey. Tom is going to be in huge trouble at the moment. Bryn has just set the fastest lap of the race. He could be on course for the win and the extra point, but we're not going to get things too complacent at the moment, because we never know. Things can change. Hindle has got more damage, 38% on the left front wing and 12% on the right front wing as well. So he's down at 11. He's still going to get points for now, but there's still Nick and Jonas that can potentially get points too. Harley Byes and Farf, I think, will probably just miss out on those points. Meanwhile, Chris and Ryan Mahoshi going side by side there, battling for 4th place. Ryan Mahoshi unfortunately cannot potentially get a podium, but he still wants to get as many points as he possibly can. He wants to go back on the form that we saw in Abu Dhabi in round 4, which was sensational for the Haas driver. Great comeback from him. There's so many candidates for driver of the day. It's just hard to decide. We're going to decide at the end, obviously, as well. Backing up to the front now, Nosey has gained a few tenths on Bryn. You can see that Bryn is struggling on the rears at the moment. Nosey is just finding it a little bit more under control. I think Nosey may have the edge on Bryn here, but Bryn, I think, is going to settle. only for a win. It's redemption for him. He missed out on the win last week. He wants it here today. And all it takes is just one small mistake from any one of those drivers to cause that. We are going to be definitely in puncher territory at this stage.
Well, we'll see. This battle hangs on a knife edge. The race hangs on a knife edge, with the top two are pulling away from the field, have a comfortable lead, and now they are free to battle. Coming up now with 2 laps to go in what has been a sensational Baku race. Still, Brent holding the lead, but not only has he got more tyre wear, he has drained his battery. He's got almost nothing left to give. So Nosey looks to be in control of this, and he's chasing him down, further down the field. Remy gets alongside Scorpion. He's going to pull through and move up into that 7th place, and continuing to move through that order now. We got Kieran chasing them down as well, as Nick and Jonas are battling. Nick swimming round here into turn 1, gets that move through up in a 12th place, and also wrapping up some championship points for himself. As it stands, they're now going towards the middle sector of the top 2. Brian is holding on at the front, but I think Nosey, he's got more battery to his name. He's got better tires underneath him. As long as he doesn't make a mistake, he can have a run at it. But I don't think he's going to go all out for this one. Do you think he's saving this for the run to the line, saving up that battery, saving up those tires to put in one last burst of speed? We've seen Baku race decided on the run to the line with DRS. Do you think Nosey is trying that? He's got to stay in DRS range though. Brent's still got some pace in it. Who knows? Is going to win this race? Yes, we've got a lap and a half to go here in Azerbaijan.
Yeah, I was commentating on the race, like, when I actually started commentating back in 2018. I think it was towards, I would say October, November time. It was a 2-horse fight for the victory, and it came down to a photo finish. It was the winner that won by a risk. I have a feeling we're going to see something similar here today, and that just amazes me right now, that every time I commentate on Baku, it's always an exciting one. Can we just go to Baku more in every league race? Because I absolutely love it. Nosey is going to save battery now. Actually, no, he's not going to save battery. He's going to try and gain on Bryn now. Final lap. He's got the DRS. He's gaining on Bryn now. This is going to be crucial if Nosey wants to get this win. Heading towards turn 1 now. Bryn covers to the right-hand side that he needs to. He's trying to save his tyres. I think that's what he must be doing at the moment. This is the only 2 that can potentially get the win, because Tom Robbo can only sell for 30 damage. There's been a mistake and a touch. That means Tom could be back in this. Nosey is winning at the moment, but could this be the win-loss for Bryn at the moment? We'll have to find out. I'm looking at the damage. Bryn has got 90% damage on the right front wing. That is costly for him. That might cost him P2 this race if Tom could catch up as well. But Bryn, what a heartbreak for him. He had heartbreaker penalties losing the win due to the safety car. He could lose the win here as well. I think the win is going to go to Nosey, and I don't think we're going to get the photo finish that we were praying for in this race. But Bryn is not going to give up at the moment. He's still finding about 7 temps on Nosey, but Bryn is going to lose so much downforce as well. Jay Fletcher has got damage as well, 44% on the left front wing. That means Rimpe's going to cost, and Ryan Mahoshi has been in the castle section. We had a possible bin in the castle section, the first I've seen in a while. But let's jump back to our leaders as well. Roma, unfortunately, has retired from the session then. That means this race is over. But unfortunately, the chase that Bryn was doing to get that race victory is over, and we're going to see a different race winner. Nosey needed this. He was chasing, he was waiting to the final lap to put the pressure on Bryn, and he delivered then. Father's retired, but Nosey comes towards the start finish right now. Straight now, he wins in Baku. Bryn takes second. Tom Robbo takes P3, and Chris gets P4. Jay Fletcher somehow, even after getting damage, is going to get P5, which is incredible. Rimpe gets 6th, Scorpion 7th, Schnitzel 8th, Kieran 9th, and Hindle 10th, Jonas in 11th, and Nick gets your final point paying position. I think I'm going to need a lie down after that.
What an absolutely dramatic race that was. Schnitzel gets the driver of the day by the in-game fans then, gets awarded with it. But that was a stunner of a race then. Nosey taking the race win. Brent, just that error coming off of turn 2, costing him dearly as it turns out. He has to settle for second, but what a valiant effort it was. Tom Robbo, despite being compromised on strategy, he ends up wrapping up that 3rd place. Did a fantastic job as well. All the podium runners did a great race out there on the road. But Nosey, at the end, is going to come away your race winner for McLaren, and he's going to try and climb up that championship order. He wins today, Bryn in second place, Tom Rowe in third. Questel's up for fourth in the end, with Jay Fletcher after a late error, putting him in fifth place for Rimpey in sixth, Scorpion 7th, Schnitzel in 8th, up 8 places. Great drive today from Schnitzel. Kieran 9th, Hendo rounds out the top 10, and fastest lap inside the top 10. Looks like it's going to go to Brent, so he does have that consolation from today. Then to wrap up the results, then we got Jonas 11th, Nick in 12th, Riley 13th, F1 Bart 14th, Rama in 15th. After that, going out in the last lap, Casper, Vahanen, Okeke and Kajman didn't see out the checkered flag. Fastest lap outside the top 10, I think, is going to go to Casper, if I'm not mistaken. So they're going to be the points, the recipients of the fastest lap points. Nosey wins today, but my oh my, that was a traumatic race here at Azerbaijan.
And the gap between Nosey and Bryn after getting the fastest lap between today, 2 points. Nosey got 20 points. Bryn got 18 points. Obviously, second place usually gets 17, but due to the fastest lap, he got 18 points. A few stats before we get you for your drive of the day. It's Knowles' first victory, his second podium. It's Tom's third podium, and it's Bryn's best result with a second place. His previous best result was 7th. And it was KK and Kajman's worst result of the season as well. Not a bad day for the Renault boys. But now it's time to do something that is going to be very difficult for us. Pick pick one driver of the day each, as well as a question. And since you're the guest, I'm going to let you choose first. What is your driver of the day, and what is your question you'd like to answer?
Well, you put me on the spot here, because I think I'm really torn between all of the podium finishers. They all drove absolutely fantastically throughout today. But I'm guessing just because of delivering under pressure, then I think I would have gone with Brent, but just that last lap mistake costing him. So I'm going to say Nosey, our fourth driver of the day. Gained 2 places, drove fantastically throughout, took advantage of the safety car when it came, and took out that race victory. And my question for Nosey is going to be, how tense were those final few laps, battling away with Bryn there, right to the line, and what was the realisation when you thought that race win was finally coming towards you?
That is a good question, I have to say. I was going to pick Nosey as well, but there's so many drives of the day that I have to give to you. But usually I like to go with someone that's gained possibly the most positions, maybe Schnitzel as well, but due to the fact that he was so close on the podium last week and he did not get it, I have to give it to Bryn because of that fantastic move he did earlier on. But my question is, what a shame to miss out on that victory, but what confidence is going to bring you going into Silverstone after you getting your best result of the season? So those are your 2 drivers of the day. Your top 2, actually, Nosey and Bryn. You'll be able to vote for them on the OneHubRacing Twitter account tomorrow, and probably tomorrow morning. The polls are going to go out as well, and you'll be able to see the responses to those questions. Before we wrap up the stream, Daniel, would you like to go through the 3 sponsors?
Yes, I certainly will do. So sponsoring OneHubRacing is Next Level Racing, who will be providing racing rigs to the winner of the Going Gets Tough award. Please remember that you don't have to be a top driver in your tier. If you complete all your races, complete all your interviews, you can be eligible for that award. We're also sponsored by Vespertine, who is partnering with us to support our prizes here in OneHub, and also I mentioned it to Liam RBS, who is going to be providing he's going to be sponsoring the trophies for this season of racing, and also do make sure to check out his Twitch account at Liam RBS. And so I think that's going to wrap up everything for tonight. Thank you to all our sponsors. Thank you to the drivers out there for putting on a great show. And for my commentary debut here in OneHub, I think that went very well. But yeah, that was an absolute blast. I can't wait to go at it later on.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to see what you could do in the commentary box for pretty much seasons and races to come. Because who knows, mate, you may be called back to commentate soon. Next week, we'll be back once again. Well, Jake and Craig will be back once again, where we head to Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. It is the home track for pretty much most of the drivers then, so added pressure for pretty much everybody to do as well as they can. Famous corners such as Stowe and Wellington Straight as well, Brooklands, Luffield, many corners and a lot of overtaking opportunities as well, and it's going to provide some great racing. I've been Jess Games 95, Daniel's been Daka, and have a good evening. Make sure you check the Pinnacle tier stream, which is live right now. They're in the middle of their races, commentated by Luke Etheridge and Matt there. So check that out on the OneHubRacing channel right now. See you soon. Have a good evening. Enjoy the Pinnacle stream, and goodbye.